First of all, I'm very humbled to share this panel with my distinguished co-panelists, and I want to begin by thanking the University of Peace, represented by Ambassador Fernandez Puyana, and the Dharma Alliance for taking the time and for their involvement in creating this enabling space to enact intercultural dialogue. As you might have seen on the program, my name is Maria, and I am here on behalf of the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations. The Alliance, UNAOC, by its acronym in English, was founded in 2005 under the auspices, or through the joint effort of Spain and Turkey. Turkey, my apologies to the Turkish representatives, Turkey, we should say now. Beautiful name. So it was then supported by Secretary General Kofi Annan, and it has enjoyed a status as a special initiative under the UN Secretary General ever since then. We work on intercultural dialogue and interfaith dialogue based across 5 main pillars: media, migration, youth, prevention of violent extremism, and the role of women as peacemakers. And here in Geneva, we have offices since November 2021, and we have also a little bit of a different line of work related to emerging technologies and the ethics of neurotechnologies and artificial intelligence developments. So I really salute the opportunity for us to be here and to engage with faith and traditions other than the Abrahamic traditions. The Alliance is fortunate enough to count as members of its ever-open group of friends with the states of Thailand, Vietnam, and also Malaysia, and India, certainly, in which we know that Dharmic traditions have their historical legacy and a very strong presence. So I think it is always a great opportunity for us to acknowledge the cultural importance, the historical legacy, and the relevance of Dharmic faiths, to have sometimes an approach that might be relevant to other major parts of the world, and not only to, let us say, maybe the European context, where the Abrahamic faiths have more adherents or a historical legacy that might be more apparent. But certainly, Dharmic traditions are not only relevant in the region, but I will say that, of course, make part of the cultural heritage of all of humankind. When I was trying to reflect on the topic that we have today, peacebuilding, SDGs and Dharma cultures, I was reminded of the address that the Minister of Foreign Affairs of India gave at the 9th Global Forum of the Alliance that we had in Fez, Morocco, in November last year. And he mentioned the concept of Dharma as one that creates mutual respect and equality of treatment. It made me think also of the address that the High Representative of the Alliance, Mr. Miguel Ángel Moratinos, gave on the commemoration of Vesak Day, thinking of the teachings of the Buddha and how they lead us to a conclusion also of mutual understanding, mutual recognition, and equality of treatment. So, without daring, of course, to myself delve into a concept that is so rich also in the different faith traditions that we have represented today here, certainly I can learn a lot from my distinguished co-panelists. I guess that 2 notions that became more apparent for me and that I can link to also the work of the Alliance and maybe more broadly to the SDGs and the work of the United Nations is one of somehow essential underlying or common truth, as if there is a common essence to all of humanity and therefore a common cause. That made me think of the motto of the Alliance. Our motto is many cultures, one humanity. So maybe also this brings us back to the opening remarks. There is a certain unity that goes beyond, or it's within the diversity that we see in ourselves. And then the second is one of ethics, somehow interconnected ethics. And that certainly speaks to different SDGs. If we are thinking of this common essence, I can see clearly that this will lead us to SDG 5, equality between men and women, ultimately even to SDG 16, institutions that are accountable, that are transparent, societies that are peaceful. Also everything related to climate action, life on land, life underwater, thinking of this interconnectedness with the world around us, certainly reducing inequalities, reducing poverty. So it's a common thread that I can imagine can motivate many people that get their experiences or get their reflections and their wisdom from Dharmic traditions to be very engaged with the cause of the SDGs themselves. In our case, because we work a lot with youth, the work of the Alliance, as I said, youth is one of our fundamental pillars or line of actions. I think that this element of truth is also quite important. Youth tend to be willing to engage in very frank or very open terms. And I think this is quite essential to avoid a relativization of all meaning. Sorry to be a bit obscure, but typically the youth that we work with, they want to tackle challenges of societal divides, ethno-religious divides within their communities. And for that you need to agree on a unity of meaning. Even the project of human rights is one of acknowledging that there is a certain universal meaning and a certain universal protection that binds us all. So I think that their capacity to engage with this truthfulness allows them to find common ground. And this is something that made me think how our work already reflects part of this essential cultural heritage of humankind that is preserved through Dharmic traditions. So if any of the projects of the Alliance is of the interest, of course, of the floor, or the moderator considers that some interesting questions can be addressed, or my co-panelists have any feedback, I am more than open, and I will be extremely happy to answer any and all questions if we have the time. Please do not hesitate to reach out. The Alliance office in Geneva is fully functional, and we are eager to engage with all the stakeholders in this space. And I guess that without further ado, it's my privilege and my pleasure to learn from my co-panelists actually more of what Dharmic traditions do. But before closing my intervention, I would like to commend the Dharma Alliance. I know they have a lecture series on the SDGs, and I know that they contribute a lot to that cause, while again preserving a tradition that is cultural heritage for us all. Many cultures, one humanity, to repeat the motto once again. But it also brings us the perspective of major parts of the world and of citizens or stakeholders that are certainly very important. Thinking, for instance, of another SDG, responsible production and consumption, many people that actually form the legacy of Dharmic traditions are in regions of the world for which economic development and sustainable economic development are very important stakes. And I think that bringing their perspectives to the table is also quite essential. So I can only thank again the Dharma Alliance, the University of Peace, and you for participating in today's event. Thank you very much for your time.